doctor, but not good health. With money, you can have insurance, but not safety. And this is the problem that we all have. There are things that you cannot.
Already on the line. Good evening, Neville.
Good evening, Sansa.
Welcome to It's All About the Money. Now, Neville, let's be honest. In South Africa, we talk a lot about jobs. We talk a lot about youth unemployment. And we talk even more about opportunity. But we hear the phrase impact sourcing. Some listeners might think it sounds like another corporate buzzword, but it speaks to something very real, which is, can businesses become part of the solution, not just, a spectator on the sidelines? Because here's the access and experience and in fact and the doorway in, and that's where this conversation becomes so important. I mean, we are talking about economic inclusion, which is what we always fight for. We are talking about economic inclusion. We're talking about dignity and a future that feels a little more within reach. So let's start right here, Neville. For our listeners who may be hearing this for the first time, what exactly is impact sourcing and why is it becoming such an important conversation in South Africa right now?
Problems, that we face in the country. But if we look at impact sourcing, then it's intentional hiring. So instead of companies fishing in the same small pool of experienced candidates, companies deliberately recruit, train, and retain young people from. And it matters because it works. In our sector, that's the GBS sector, 90% of new hires are youth. And that's exactly why BPESA will be launching a practical guide this week to help every operator in the sector, big or small, do this properly and at scale.
So Neville, just to make it plain for our people at home, if a business owner is listening right now and asking, how is this different from normal recruitment, what will you tell them?
What is your degree? What's your experience? Impact sourcing flips that and asks, what is your potential? It wraps recruitment, training, and onboarding and support around a young person. So it provides for transport, mentorship, even mental health. This sector created over 26,000 international jobs, the most since 2018, and nearly 24,000 of those went to youth. So the goal is what we call impact employment. It's not just getting a young person to detail and will guide operators and employers through that process.
Neville, youth unemployment and opportunity, let's look at that. South Africa continues to battle extremely high youth unemployment. Help us understand as to how can impact sourcing create Because let's face it, many young people, Neville, are told that they need experience to get a job. But how do you...
No, of course. And it's the age-old thing of, you need a job to get experience, and to get the job, you need the experience, right? So it's a bit of a conundrum. But the GBS is one of South Africa's quiet success stories. So over the last 10 years, we've created around 180,000 jobs. And what that translates into is $3 billion of export revenue level. So this is the one sector where entry-level skills make a massive impact, and we make it at scale. And we're doing it in every active province. There are 4 provinces currently where the GBS is active, and it includes were added last year. Few sectors can absorb first-time workers like this one can. So the point here is that the GBS sector provides an easy access for those youth that are willing to come to the party.
Let's get into it, because I'm sure many young people, are listening and waiting to understand as to how they can get this access. I mean, we've got too many young people who are unemployed, because effectively the unemployment rate is sitting at about 45%, which means that out of 10 people,
the president introduced an initiative, and around that, a platform has been developed by Harambee, the Youth Employment Service.
Yeah, we did cover this on this show as well.
Yeah, so that is in this sector. I think that that platform currently has over 4 million registration or youth that have registered on it, and that platform is constantly developing to make sure that the right candidate is
This is what we do. We bring in people who knows best when it comes to your business and personal finance. We are looking at tonight. We are looking at the role of global business services sector that that is playing in creating inclusive jobs, particularly for in reality, this sector can be one of the most practical ways to bring jobs closer to people where they are. How do we ensure that AI it does complement job creation rather than replacing entry-level opportunities? Because that's the big fear, isn't it?
No, exactly. I don't know, Nankla, how you feel about AI, but it's got to be one of the most exciting developments. But at the same time, it's also the most scary, right? Because it's this thing that creates a huge opportunity between and not two competing ones is the way that we need to approach this. AI takes the repetitive work, and humans do what machines can't do, which is empathy, judgment, problem solving, rapport. That's exactly what our clients pay for. In fact, the very, very jobs that our youth are making an impact in. And that's what our clients value. They value the young people with AI and not despite it. Get the skill strategy right, and AI makes entry-level workers more valuable, not redundant. Get it wrong, and yes, we leave people behind. That's why the guide tackles both together. You know, as our CEO, Reshni Singh, puts it, impact sourcing ensures more South Africans access meaningful careers, and AI ensures those.
As say they struggle to find job-ready candidates. What skills are businesses looking for today, and how can young people better prepare themselves? And this is where we have to be brutally honest, Neville, because sometimes the gap is not digital literacy or all of the above.
So I think this is very interesting because in this sector, we need English communication skills. That's the primary requirement. Digital literacy, going up, you know, wanting to make a difference. And employers tells us the jobs exist, but the pipeline of job-ready candidates doesn't. So my advice is you don't need a degree to start. Use free platforms like the sayouth.mobi that I've spoken. Higher on attitude and potential. The technical stuff can be taught. And in most cases, when a youth joins an operator, there is a very, very clear path of development and growth in that organization. Complex with AI in the mix, obviously the bar is shifting towards higher value skills. So young people who keep learning on the job will find the career ladder is real.
Well, there you have it, KZN. I hope you are taking notes. That's what is required. Nothing much. In case you're wondering, KZN, as to what we're on about tonight, we are with Neville Cousins. He's the head of special project and digital IT at BPESA. Business, global business sourcing, outsourcing rather. We are looking at can impact sourcing processing enabling South Africa will launch its new impact sourcing guide, which will bring together industry leaders to discuss as to how businesses can intentionally create employment opportunities for our young people, especially for underserved communities, whilst also exploring us to understand as to where is this a conference that you're going to be having tomorrow, and is it open to all businesses who are interested in BPESA, or is it closed only to members of BPESA?
So the event will be taking place in the sector. And the handbook will be launched tomorrow to our sector members. And obviously they are the ones that will execute on these strategies that are outlined in the handbook. So there's an but to get them to be more focused on impact sourcing.
Thank you so much. And for members, maybe for other members of the public who may wish to become part of BPESA, who are in this sector, how do they go about to become part of this?
Well, I would, yeah. Clearly outlined on that website.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Neville. Now, for small and medium-sized businesses, small businesses listening tonight, how can they adopt impact sourcing principles without, because, I mean, they don't have money, without large budgets or... and growing companies. So the question to you is, what can they do in practical terms?
Okay. Well, certainly you don't need to be very big. You also don't need your own academy. The guide lays out 4 models, and the simplest on the table: the employment tax incentive, CETA funding, DTIC incentives. So start small, even 2 or 3 international hires a year with a bit of mentorship is impact sourcing. The partnership route also means you share the risk and the cost. The provider handles recruitment and training, and you get a job-ready candidate with clear per placement.
If I want to partner with them?
Well, yes. So once you become a member of BPESA, you get access to the community.
Now, let's look at policy and ecosystem support. What ecosystem changes are still needed to help impact sourcing reach more communities across South Africa, especially, those underserved communities? Because in KwaZulu-Natal specifically,
and predictable incentives. The DTIC support has been a game changer, and that must continue. Second, better coordination. So employers, training providers, funders, and government working off one demand-led plan instead of a fragmented. So this is connectivity and transport. So talent in townships and rural areas can actually reach these jobs. The demand exists. The pipeline is what we must build. So if we get these 3 right, the target of 350,000 to 500,000.
powers that be are listening. Now, finally, Neville, if you are a young person listening tonight who is unemployed or looking to build a career in the digital economy, help us with practical advice that you would leave them with.
Well, any training that gives you ideas, so very important, register on that platform and then engage in that platform. It's free. There's no detail. Day. These two skills open the GBS door. And then thirdly, don't wait to feel ready. This sector hires for potential. 90% of our hires are young people, most with no prior experience, and the industry is looking for you. So you need to just put up your hand. Your background is not your ceiling. Thousands of young people from grant-dependent households are now building careers in the sector. And there's no learn something new, and you need to be aware of what's going on as far as skills development is concerned. You know, gone are the days where young people have to sit and wait for opportunities to open. We're now living in a world where you or get into an Uber. I'm surprised at how just a small discussion can get that driver so excited, understanding what AI can do for them. There are no barriers anymore. We're living in a world now where the SA Youth.mobi, start there and then look at how you can change or elevate your life using some form of AI.
There you have it. Your background is not your CV. So go out there onto that website. Please repeat that website for us.
So it's very easy.
There you have it. This is not theory. This is not slogan, but this is real advice that you can take home tonight and act on tomorrow morning, even right now, because you're sitting, you're listening to us right now. Jump onto that phone, stop scrolling on TikTok, and Africa needs practical, hopeful, and honest about the scale of the challenge, but also clear that also clear that. And to our listeners, please do stay with us, because after the break, we're going to be switching gears. We're just going to look at the markets, and we will switch gears and dive into another fascinating question. What are South Africans under 35 really spending their money on? You're going to be surprised. The numbers really may surprise you, and the story behind them says a lot about how young people are surviving. How are they adapting?
Drive. What's the one thing that always makes your day better?
Waking up early and soaking in the sun and taking my time.
Every day you do that?
That's my joy.
Joy, like that face, their faces, they light up. I mean, for me, that's woo. I don't know if I didn't have that. If I was alive.